We do have another caller holding on the line. Let's see who we have holding on the line. We have Dolores from Raymond. Dolores from Raymond, please go ahead, ask your question.
My question is, I was driving at night around 10 o'clock on the main highway. Under the light, our SUV was parked and it was dark, no lights on it or nothing. When I hit it from behind because I could not stop, the person that was in the driving car was not even in the car. It was three people in the car under a light. The light was on green, and I was going, and I hit the car because I could not stop in time to keep from hitting. So I reduced my speed. And I got blamed for the accident. Totally blamed. My insurance is up high, and they threatened to cancel my sister's insurance because I was the one driving her car. So whose fault is that?
Wow, that is a deep and really good question with lots of elements. Seth, if you will, go ahead and start and tell Dolores, any advice that you have to give to her.
Yeah, so Dolores, there's a lot to unpack there. Mississippi is what we call a comparative fault state. So if that vehicle was there in a spot that it wasn't supposed to be in, and as you indicated, the lights were out, you had a hard time seeing it, and you actually hit the car, you may share some degree of fault. I won't lie to you about that. But the car that was there, if it shouldn't have been there, they should also share some degree of fault. Now, how your insurance company responds, how your sister's insurance company responds, it's going to be case specific according to whatever their policy is regarding those investigations and subsequent findings about who they determine to be at fault. But there again, to go back to the original question, both people in Mississippi can share some degree of fault. That's a little bit different than in other states where if you're even 1% at fault, then you're not on the hook at all. Mississippi's a little bit different.
Good advice. I know hitting someone from behind, I was always taught that whoever hits the person is the one at fault, because you obviously should be paying attention at all times, regardless of the circumstances. Barry, what advice do you have to add for Dolores?
I think Seth's analysis was correct. The only thing I have to add was to reiterate the fact that there is some comparative negligence there. I would want to know what were the lighting conditions like, if it was actually at dark, and the person did not have the lights on while the car was just sitting there. That would be one factor. And a second factor, not only I would want to know whether or not they had their lights on, I'd like to know if they had their emergency flashes on to notify the driver that's approaching them that the car is in fact stopped, stalled, and in an emergency situation.
Lots of factors involved in this, so I guess what I'm hearing from both of you is that it's not straightforward. It's not always as simple as maybe we've been taught in the past. Thank you both for that good advice.